Hey there, Russ here. Welcome back to the shop. First off, let me say that it has been quite a long time since my last video, but been kind of down and under. So anyway, so I thought I'd start off doing a quick rambling, then I'm going to try to go back to my OTB bandsaw series. I've still got a couple of promised videos on there to do, and I actually have a couple more things. So there's plenty of that going on still. But I thought today I'd talk about a couple of things in the past that I have and let you know. First, one thing. Yeah, that's her. Missy. She's been, I could talk for hours about her. So anyway, it's really funny watching these two interact and fight and argue and play. And so if you've never had two dogs, you can never appreciate just what really dogs are really like. And it really does open your eyes as to how dogs think when you see two of them interacting with you and with each other. So anyway, having the new dog has been a lot of fun and real pain at the same time. So a couple of things I wanted to talk about is, first, if you remember back or if you watched my past video, I did one 4.5 years ago about lighting up your shop. When I first moved in here, I had 4-footer light fixtures in here, fluorescent. They were horrible, and so I wanted to replace them, and I gave a lot of thought. For a while, I was using more fluorescent bulbs, but then I'd find other problems, and they just have always been a pain. I hate 4-foot and 8-foot fluorescent lights personally, and over the years, that was your best alternative, but now the things are much better. But also, back then, I said that rather than going back to a fluorescent type fixture, I decided to put standard E26 light bulb, this size here, fixtures, just the little cheap little round ones that you buy. You see them in hall closets all over the United States. Anyway, and I went and I started using the one they were pushing in those days. No barking. Sorry. I put one of these in all 12 of those locations then. And I went to these. And it did a fairly good job of keeping the shop comfortably lit. And what I liked about them is that they are very expensive at the time. But it was cheaper than buying the 4-footers. But I also found that they last for a very long time. So I have had, little by little, I've replaced probably about half of them in 4.5 years, but I think overall it's been a pretty fair way of doing it. A lot better than the incandescent. Those things go bad all the time if you get a bad batch. So this was a good alternative, but I also had the feeling this was not permanent, and I was right, because now they have been replaced with these. They also make the big garage one that you're supposed to use in the garage. It's got a big ring of them. Those things are awesome. That's what's right above here. In fact, this side of the shop, I have 3 of them right in here to give this area where I'm in mostly, give this the best lighting. But I have these. These are just 1,500 lumens. Yeah, 1,500 lumens, which is pretty good. And I put these in, I've been putting these in where they've been going bad. And these actually do a fair, I really like these better than even these. But what's so ironic is that when the technology changed on us, I made the right call 4.5 years ago when I went to those light fixtures, which was the point of what I was doing, is because I knew things would change. And now they have these, and actually I like these even better than these. But I've been putting these in certain places, and I've been putting that garage one. It's got like the 3 wings that you can set the angles. I'll leave a link to the description to that. I'll also leave a link to the video that I referred to a while ago about the light fixtures in the shop. And Missy, no barking. No barking. I go on this battle all day long. Anyway, going to those light fixtures was really the best idea. Now, I'm really glad I did, because the new evolution of light bulbs. That particular light fixture is used everywhere in the country, and almost probably virtually every house in this country has this standard light bulb outlet and you just screw and unscrew light bulbs. I know in Europe they do something different, but you have standards just like we do here, and you probably have one big standard of fixture that you use. And so that's why I went with it, because I knew there would be a lot more choices for that in the long run, because that is the one where they can make millions of these to justify, because it goes into the same socket that the original incandescent bulb went into. They're still using that socket. And I suspect this is not the end of things either, or that one that I've got up here that you use in it's designed to be in the garage, because it lights up. It's 4,000 lumens, 3,000 to 4,000, depending upon what you get, which is twice as much as this thing puts out. So, and those are really make a very good shop lighting for me at this point. And so I'm really glad that I stayed with those same fixtures. So anyway, I thought I'd bring that up since I was thinking about these last couple of days, and I just had to replace another one up here. So I'll be putting this one up there now. But as they burn out, these other ones, the CFLs burn out, I'll be putting those up, and they actually work. So if you're thinking about putting new wiring in your garage and you're trying to put up lighting, honestly, I do believe if you go with the standard inexpensive light fixture that you can find, that's little white one, porcelain, sometimes they're plastic, and even the plastic ones are fine. But you want the screw-in type that is the most common used in most households in whatever country you're in. Stick with those fixtures rather than going to the 4-footers or the 8-footers, because this is so cheap in comparison to what I would have spent in fluorescent lights if I had done it that way. And the maintenance, just... Anyway, screw one in, screw one out, or vice versa. It's a good way of going. So I would go with regular light fixtures all throughout the shop, rather than trying to put 4- and 8-footers of some kind. Even the LED, long LEDs, I don't think those are near as good as these little fellas right up here. The ones that they have that just screw into this outlet and has a whole bunch of lights on it. So you might check into that. Like I say, you can do what you want, but that's what I was thinking about. The other thing I want to talk about here real quick is Murph Workshop. Murph's Workshop is a video channel out there, and we've gone back and forth for quite a long time. We've known each other off and on for years. So anyway, I've never met him, but only through our channels have we had conversations. And he sent me some friction rubber grip. It's called rug grip. I'll leave a link to the Amazon purchase page where you can buy this stuff off of Amazon. And this stuff is actually quite good. It's a PSA on the backside that you peel it off and then you can just stick it down. And the inside is a non-friction, and it's got little square patterns on it, but it's a non-friction surface. And it actually, if I put it down and try to pull it, I can actually cause this desk to move a little bit. So it actually has a pretty good holding power. And the reason he sent these to me, because he saw my video on my OTB Vice. No. She's sitting right here bothering me. Sorry about that. But anyway, on that OTB Vice I made, which is basically a hand screw clamp, and it's mounted vertically on something. So anyway, you have to watch the video. I'll leave a link to that. He showed me how he used this on there instead of sandpaper and that silicone pad that I used for the base. And he's right. This stuff is really awesome. But I've been looking at it. I've had other things to do with it. And one of the things I've realized is on all my little clamps, I just cut this stuff into little strips and then cut them off, and then I just shape them when I stick them down to wherever I put them on. And I've been sticking them on here, and boy, does it really help. This clamp here is really, I put them on here, and if I just stick it on, and I don't have to tighten it near as tight to get it to hold. I just, barely tight it. Compared to before, you really had to crank it down pretty hard. So that is such a great use for it. So if you get a chance, you might want to try putting it on some of your clamps. And this does help protect the wood, I have found. When I clamped down, and I don't know what I did with it, I had something around here that I was clamping this down and tightening it down as tight as I could. And it would leave a little bit of a mark if I really cranked it down. But it takes a lot to even mar it with just this. You don't have to put those little spaces in there anymore. And it just really is going to make these things so much better to use. Because you know as well as I do, these other ones, then they come with their own things. First off, they always seem to get in the way and you lose them. I'm lucky. I still got 2 out of 6. I only have 2 of these that have those on there anymore. They fall off and gets lost easy. The nice thing about doing it this way is that if it starts to mess up, peel it off, cut that little piece, stick it on there real quick, and a minute later, you got a no grip protection on your wood to help protect it. So the big thing is that using that friction tape on there, when you clamp down, you will find that your clamping amount of force you clamp with is going to drop dramatically because you won't need more. It really holds it from slipping with a lot less holding power on the clamp. So your clamps are going to work much better than they ever did with a lot less oomph from your hands. So it's a great little idea. I really like this stuff. I'm also putting it on my pads. I haven't done that yet, but I want to put it on my push pads for my jointer, where you take the 2 pads to push something over. I use sandpaper ones now, and I'm going to switch those over to this stuff, and I think this stuff will work pretty well. We'll have to see how well it holds up under sawdust conditions, but only time will tell. So I'm finding new ideas of what to do with this stuff as I use it over and over in different places, but try it on your clamps. It's well worth it. So if you get a chance, pick up some of that stuff. It's not too expensive, and a roll of that would go a very long way for making little pads for all your stuff. So, speaking of the OTB Vice, that's the other thing I want to talk about real quick here. I saw these on Rockler, and I was thinking, those are really cool. A 4-inch hand screw clamp. Now, I don't know how much good they really are in the real world, but I got to thinking about it. And if you look at my other OTB Vice, I'm not going to get it down. I've looked at these and I'm thinking, I think I could do something really cool with these to make a nice little vise. So I think I'm going to, I was looking at a couple different ways also to incorporate my bench dog holes. So I originally was thinking just drill a hole here and put a bench dog in and glue it in. You wouldn't get very deep with it, but I think it'd be enough to help hold it and just have your bench dog go through. But I think I would rather do this a little different because I think I'd like to be able to take it and put it in a bracket and mount it this way and have it still be able to turn in any direction I want. But I also think I would like to take it and be able to put it into the bracket this way. So that if I put it in this way and mount it, now I get this overhang. Now just imagine if I had something like this and that would fit into here to hold it in place. I could put a couple of these and use these somewhere also. So I'm looking at how to possibly use this way. Now the only drawback to this clamp is when you open it up, you get about 2 inches. Is about all you're going to get out of that on the opening of the jaw. But that's probably more than enough for most of the Vice stuff that I would be doing anyway. And I think to do them as a pair, you could then have 2 of them set up exactly together so you could put a longer piece in between both of them. And this would be more than enough jaw to hold just about anything you want. The other one, my original OTB is, I think it's an 8-inch clamp, if I remember right. So it's 8 inches long instead of 4. I would like to try the 6-inch. Also take a look at one of those. I haven't bought them yet. I bought these because they were on sale, so stay tuned. I'm going to show you what kind of bracket I got in mind And you can kind of help me go through the steps of turning this into an OTB Vice. I think this is going to make a really cool OTB Vice, the pair of these. So if you want to play along, then you might want to go out to Rockler or someplace, pick up your hand screw clamps. You're going to need a pair because I'm going to set something up where I can use them either together or use just one. So I'm probably going to make 2 holders for wherever I do it, and I'll do it identical. So I can set them together or use just one. If you don't want the 4-inch, you might want to take a good look at the 6-inch, because everything we do with this on the 4-inch, you probably will be able to do with any size clamp eventually. I don't think that the bracket would be interchangeable between different jaw sets, but I don't know why you would do that. I would probably make this in such a way that these 2 clamps would then be dedicated to being a bench vise, either to work together or separately, but have them both available on my bench vise to be able to use in 2 or 3 different positions is what I'm looking at. So come on along. You can think about it. I'm going to make a pad here that has a dowel goes down in here, and maybe a screw on the bottom so I can tighten it down if I need to keep it from turning. I would like the bracket to be able to hold it this way and be able to spin it around as needed, or hold it this way. And I'm also trying to think about how I could possibly do this to get angles out of it. Maybe have it be able to angle. So I don't know about that and how important that'll be, because the holding power in these things is actually pretty good. And if you watch my original OTB Vice, where I take one of these and I do 2 or 3 videos on that vise, and I learned a lot of little things about these handles and about aligning your jaws or not aligning. So as you're clamping something down, once you get it set up so you can put it in and out of there, then it's just a matter of taking one of these and loosening and tightening just a 1/4 turn to put things in and out, and you can hold odd shapes and everything with them. This makes this hand screw clamp really make a really good vise to hold things in the long run. So stay tuned. You can kind of see where I'm going to go with it, but that's the other thing I was kind of excited about doing, so I had to tell you guys about this. After I got these, I said, oh yeah, that's going to be a great little fun series that we're going to do here. If you remember my series on the BS joint, bamboo skewers, and how it evolved from just a single hand cranking or hand drilling it, and then I end up making a jig and doing all sorts of stuff, and have a whole BS system now where you can do toenail them and everything. And that got kind of carried away. But anyway, I think maybe we might be able to do something along those lines. And actually, if anybody out there has any suggestions about the base, I am still in the process of figuring out what kind of base I really am going to use. I do want to incorporate it into my bench dog system, but you could just as easily make your base to go on a track, T-track system or anything if you wanted to. So let's all leave your comments of what you think about it. As I evolve this and I come up with new ideas and I try to do a couple of prototypes, we'll let you see them as I do them so that you can see what you think about it and how we can make that better. You kind of get an idea how my OTB thinking goes as I go along. So this is a new idea. I think it's going to be a very fun project, and it'll probably take us a couple, 3 months to really come up with something that is easy to make, easy to change out from position to position, and to have it to where it works real easily. So, and utilize these things to what I think that you can do with these. They're but they are very cute just to have sitting around, I have to tell you. So anyway, I think I'm going to buy a 6-inch pair, because if we're going to do this project, I might as well. I didn't buy them because those are these were on sale. You actually save quite a bit. So if you're thinking about doing this, you're going to want to get those right away. But overall, if you want to play along, you're probably going to want to get a pair sooner or later. So you might as well get them while they're on sale if you can. Anyway, I think that's about it. All my rambling. If you have any questions or any new ideas, just leave them down below. I do read them all. I enjoy reading those things, and I enjoy your words of encouragement. That's what keeps me going on this stuff. So, sorry I took so long to get back to this one. Like I said, I was a little under the weather, so it made it kind of difficult to want to do one. But I'm back again, and I hopefully pretty quickly here we'll be finishing up that OTB series, 2 or 3. So, stay tuned. Questions and comments, leave them below. If you like this video or you learned something here, hit that like button. It lets me know that I'm doing something right. Most importantly, though, please come back again, because we're nowhere near done. Thanks. We'll see you guys again very soon.